All right, let's get this thing rolling. I'm John Stillman along with Vince Morales and John Adams. Ducks, huh? Their demise? Unfortunate demise, as it may be?
Yeah, getting back to it, to be honest with you, I was just talking to Vince about this. When you're leading the league in penalties and minutes, penalty minutes, and you're leading the playoffs by a landslide in penalty minutes, Stanley Cup teams just don't go win Stanley Cups with, poor play like that and getting themselves hurt in those kind of situations. You got Eves that's out, you got Gibson that's out, you got Raquel that's out, and then you get Richie to go on and do what he did, and it's just, there's a great quote, I think it was, I think Corey Perry or even Getzlaf said, he goes, it's a very structured team over there, and they play structured hockey, and you can totally tell the Ducks aren't structured. It's almost like they're just a bunch of bullies that are going out there and pushing people around and trying to get whatever they can. And those guys, like a guy like Eves, that guy who gets that loose puck that's coming off the goalie, there was nobody there for that stuff, and. When you lose a guy like Gibson, I mean, it's gonna be
the problem with the style of hockey that the Ducks play during the regular season is that it's hard to maintain that throughout the playoffs, and not get the penalty minutes, not get behind, not make some things that put you at a disadvantage, and so it's hard. It's definitely hard to maintain that. So I get the comment, the quote about Nashville being a more structured team, and I guess that's right. But the Ducks had more points. The Ducks were, on paper, a better team. But sometimes you have to adapt your game just a little bit, just a hair. And it felt like they didn't quite do that right. And then missed opportunities.
Plus
missed opportunities, right?
And bad on the power play.
Joseph and Johansson in Game 5 in Anaheim are out. You've got that game. You got to win that game.
Exactly.
To me, it felt like that it was over.
Right.
They lose that, and Bernier did pretty well. He filled in pretty well in that game. That was the absolutely missed opportunity in Game 5.
Plus, after the dramatic win in Game 4, where you come back, score in overtime, you'd think that would fire him up enough to say, hey, let's go home and take care of business.
And I felt like the Predators, and give it to the Predators. I mean, they're the 8th seed. They go in and beat Chicago, and then they go. Was it
they swept Chicago?
Yeah, and then is it St. Louis? They beat
St. Louis,
right? And then they come in and take care of us. And I felt like every time that we made a mistake, they took advantage of it.
Yeah. And
we never did that, right? And I got to give it to them. We got a lot of heart. We always came back. We came back. But, it's like Carlisle said, you score 3 goals in a playoff game, you should win. You should win that, And, you bring back Carlisle, to come in and put something together. And I don't know, it just felt like, I don't know. There's just stupid mistakes, stupid penalties, and it's coming back. It came back to haunt them.
They were in those games. Bernier was as good as they could expect. He was 13-2-2 during the regular season during his stretch. Yeah. So you couldn't have asked for a better backup. Gibson left early, and Bernier kept him in the game. Again, like you said, some issues there that stifled them. But, so the missed opportunity in Game 5, and then in Game 6, they fall behind again.
Yeah,
again, you just can't keep doing that. We talked about that
especially with a guy like Pecorine. I mean, the guy's huge, right? Yeah. And he just doesn't give up 5 goals, 4 goals. He's big. He'll take care of a lot of. That's what they said. The little stuff that's usually around. We either hit a post or we just hit his pad, or that stuff just didn't go in. And
the way they came back too in that game,
I'm rooting for him. I hope they go.
Absolutely.
How do you not root for him? 8 seed, go get him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like the Kings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, structured hockey versus guys who like to go out and like to hit. And then special teams again. The Ducks 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Critical penalty that a power play that they gets shut out on, and then Sissons comes up with the hat trick goal right after.
Yeah.
That was the key part of that game. So that game is tied. They have the power play. They've got to score.
That's where they've got
to score.
And that guy really didn't start playing until April. The Sissons guy.
And again, it's just like what you say. You can game plan for all of their other guys, but Johansson and Fisher out, and you got
those two big scores.
Two big guys, and Sissons stepped in.
And
it's like they forgot about him.
Yeah.
Or they figured if that guy's going to beat us, let him beat us. But you've got to play. Yeah. It's not like basketball where you can just leave a guy like that open.
Right. Yeah.
You got to, if you're going to hit, you got to hit everybody. And if you get the power play, you've got to.
And then I read this afternoon that we don't get a first round draft pick now because of the Eves.
That's right.
Yeah, so we don't even have a first round draft pick in this year's draft. But I just, I hope they keep Eves. I don't know what they're going to do, and I guess that's the next question. What's next now for the Ducks and the next season? Who do we get rid of? It's going to be very interesting on who we keep. For this, this draft for the Vegas team.
For the Vegas team,
it's going to get really creative with all of these teams, and hopefully with the success that you guys have talked about with the goals down below. Maybe there's some kids that can fill roles in for next year. But, I don't know. There's a lot of people talking about, hey, it's time for Corey Perry to go. He actually played okay in the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, he had a couple of overtime goals.
Is it time to go? I don't know.
How many more years do you have on that? That was a 5-year deal, wasn't it, originally?
And I think they might have one extra. I think he's got one more year.
I hope they hang on to Eves. I think he played well.
I think he deserves it. Yeah, he put up good numbers in the small amount of games that he was there. But do we lose? The goalie that we just do we? Gibson will be there, but are we going to lose Bernier to the Vegas team? I think you can only secure one goalie.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that they traded Freddie Anderson.
True.
They hung on to him. They knew they would have to either give up Anderson.
But it's like what Vince said. He's a very good backup goalie. He did his job.
No disputing that.
So I think it's a pretty good 1-2 punch if we can hold on to those two guys. But well deserved by the Predators. There's times where I looked at some of our play and I'm like, we don't deserve to go to the next round. With the way things are going. That's probably not a true fan should say that, but so
well, you're an objective fan too. You can be objective.
I gotta kind of say what I saw, type of deal. And there's more times where I just shook my head, going, "How do you take that penalty? What are you thinking? That's stupid." And some of it was Corey Perry took some stupid penalties.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, Kessler did his job when kind of shutting guys down.
Yeah.
But we also needed him to score. He no offensive stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because Getzlaf kind of picked it up. Some of his slack.
He had a good series. Yeah, he had a good series.
So he had a great playoff series.
Even if they had survived this and advanced, so if they would have had to win in Nashville to bring it back home for Game 7. Even if they had survived, it looks like it's going to be the Penguins.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't do that. You can't do those types of things. You have to have better special teams in order to beat the Penguins. There's just no two ways about it. That's the bottom line.
Wasn't there a penalty kill that one of the worst in the league?
For us,
Ducks,
it's not good. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's
not the worst, but it's
not good. And their power play was, it's like you said, the
terrible.
Special teams was mediocre at best. Not good at all.
Special needs teams.
Yeah.
What do they need in the way of? They pretty well set for the roster. First 3.
Well, that's what I don't. What is it, Vince? You can only secure 25.
Yeah,
25
I'm not
guys.
clear. I'm not clear on it.
I think it's 20 to 25 guys you're only able to secure. So there's going to be a lot of putting names on paper and seeing where contracts are and where they're. So it's really,
I'll do a little research and we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
They did have some good young kids at San Diego.
Yeah, maybe there's some guys that are ready to graduate, and come up, but there are some key guys that I think we need to keep, and I think there's some young kids that could actually maybe. If they were to let Perry go, I think there's some young kids that can fill that role. But it's just like we discussed in the last couple weeks. Hockey's getting much quicker. It's getting much quicker,
yes.
And yes, you're going to need some big defensemen, and you're going to need some good, strong fourth lines. Right. But I think those first 2-3 lines need to be fast, man. I saw that with Edmonton. I mean, Edmonton looks like a scary team.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they could add some more bulk into the backside of that, team there with some bigger guys in defense and a stronger fourth line. But I'll tell you, that's a team that's going. I think they could probably add another strong goalkeeper to give Talbot a run for his money type of deal.
Yeah.
But
they're going to be around.
I think you watch out. I think that's a team to reckon with, and that's what opened my eyes. I mean, I went to a couple games. I'm like, these kids are just blowing by us.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not like the old days in hockey when it was like a Korea or something where it's got to be a little guy who's fast.
Yeah.
These are some big boys who are just screaming down the ice.
Yeah,
it's not like the old days where it was like little guys like a Marcel Dion or Paul Korea or whatever, where these guys that can score and get around you because they're tiny and they skate fast. No, these are big boys.
Guys who are fast.
And that's
with
kind of
great footwork and great.
And that's what I
handling.
kind of like about the Preds. And this coach, you got to give this coach his, I think this is his third team. He's taken to the Stanley Cup. He's won one, lost one, but he took the Hurricanes to the win there back in 2006 and 2010. I think he lost with the Flyers, but he looks like he's got to put a team together and say, you want to play fast, I'll play fast. You want to play slow, I'll play slow. And he just and there it goes back to the structure. He's like, okay, this is the way the team plays. We'll play their way, but he also looks like a guy who says, you want me to slow it down? I can slow it down a little bit. So
he'll adapt. He'll adapt to the
he'll adapt to whatever. Because I think he was kind of pushed Chicago around, but then he had to play fast against St. Louis, and he did. So I think he's got himself they have good defensemen that can shoot too. So is it Grenion or big kid number 76? I mean, he came from Montreal. Kid's got a big shot from the defense. Good player. So,
anybody have
Gaudreau? No, he's a center. Gaudreau is a center. No, there's Ekholm on defense. There's Subban.
There you go. Subban. Yeah. That guy can shoot his puck. I mean, and he can direct it.
Oh, he's a big kid. Yeah, he's a big
kid. Yeah. So.
So how do we like? We like Pittsburgh in the other series.
I look at it and. Did Anderson come on off of that game like 15 times? They lost 7-0. Get out. Oh, come back in. Oh, you can go on. Can you come back in again? I just think that the Pens are well tested in playoff hockey, and they've been in every situation possible. And I just think they know. I mean, I think it's very what I like about it, which is totally different from what I'm going to talk about, a little bit different from the NBA. I like that there's new teams coming in and getting a chance to win the Stanley Cup with the Preds and Ottawa. These teams were making playoffs, but they weren't going to the second, third round, or third or fourth round. So I like that there's fresh blood coming in, and I like that it's getting spread out a little bit more. That it's just not going to be, the Rangers and whoever
Montreal.
it is.
When's the last time? Somebody won back-to-backs. Was that Detroit? It's been a long time since somebody repeated.
Yeah, it has. Go Preds.
Yeah. So did any of us have Nashville in the finals?
No, I had them losing to the Ducks.
In this round.
You did have them advancing because we talked about that. You said it originally. You said, "Did anybody have Nashville advancing?" I don't think anybody had advancing.
I
no, I
had them losing.
I
to
had
the
John's
Ducks.
thing, so he had them going.
Yeah, I had them losing to the Ducks, and then I had who did I have? Oh, remember we jumped on the Washington bandwagon.
Yeah, I had Pittsburgh losing to Washington.
Yeah. So
we're not.
Yeah. Keep our day jobs, right?
That's right. So we like Pittsburgh. That makes sense.
Yeah. There's no score in that game.
Go
by
with
the way.
chalk. Yeah.
No score in Game 6. In
that
Ottawa.
game is in Ottawa.
Yeah, in Ottawa.
Well, the entire nation is going to be rooting for the Sens, I guess. Give them their first Stanley Cup final team since
when they played the Ducks in 07, right?
Yeah. Calgary. No, Ottawa.
Yeah, well, I thought you were talking just about Ottawa. The first time Ottawa's been back since.
Right.
But the first Canadian team since, was it Calgary?
Calgary.
Yeah.
What do we want to do next, guys? Baseball? How about NBA?
Yeah, we can talk. I prepared to talk about the Lakers, and
let's go there.
but we can talk a little bit about the playoffs. I thought it was just going to be easy going for the Cavs, and then it looked like they just became disengaged.
How do you blow a 25-point lead?
Well, your star
at home.
Your star went to sleep and never woke up. So
when you beat a team by 44,
right, and then you're up by 16, right? And then
they were up 21.
But weren't they up 16 going in the fourth or the third or something like that, middle of the third or something?
They were up as much as, I think, 21, 22.
But I mean, the thing that I look at the playoffs, right? So, Golden State goes and waxes, 4 in a row, and they're going to sit and wait.
10 days.
And you got the Cavaliers that are up by 20-something, 16th going in the fourth quarter or whatever it was. They end up losing. But I just started looking at it overall. I mean, there's two dominant teams, and then there's a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just wondering, if I was to tell you right now, you write it on a piece of paper, who's the next team that's going to challenge these two teams and upset them?
Flip a coin.
There's nobody out there, really. Unless there's some major trades and major guys go and build another team like they have in Golden State and Cleveland. I mean, obviously, Cleveland's got one guy. You put them, I think they're going to lose Love probably after this year. Let
me be contrarian here because I think that the Spurs, they don't lose Kawhi, they don't lose Tony Parker. That team won 60 games, 60 regular season games. Yeah. I think they do compete against the Warriors. I think they would have been more competitive against the Warriors if they hadn't lost Kawhi and if they hadn't lost Tony Parker earlier in the playoffs. So I think that's a good team. I think they could have challenged. I think it's one of those things where we sort of jump on the bandwagon of who wants to see Cleveland and the Warriors again? I do. I like seeing the Lakers in Boston. I liked seeing the Lakers in Detroit. And there was plenty of times in the 80s when it was just about Detroit, Boston, LA. Right. 76ers, in the late 70s and early 80s. So
Houston was pretty good.
Right. So in the Lakers in 2000s, were in there quite a bit. And so I'm fine with it. I think Boston is going to be a good team. They got the first overall pick in the draft, and they've got Isaiah Thomas, who's just exploded on the scene. I think those are two teams that can compete. So with the Warriors and I'm okay with there being everybody else around it. The Wizards are going to get better. This is a salary cap league. It's a salary cap league.
I'm going to believe it when I see it type of deal, because right now I just don't see it. Now I could see Chris Paul going to San Antonio. I think Parker's like 65 years old and is on his way out, right? You also got
Ginobli, who's on
Ginobli. He's doesn't know what he's going to do, but I would assume that guy's on his way out. I think they're two players away that if they could get some guys to come over, I absolutely agree, but is that going to happen? But I'm the kind of guy that's going to say I'll believe it when I see it. And I think Boston, you're absolutely right, has the potential. But if
I like that coach too, I love that coach.
He doesn't have a very good playoff record, but I think something came up a little bit weird. They go and beat Cleveland without Isaiah Thomas, and I'm sitting there going, okay, and they got the first pick, and they could go get a point guard.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, wow, is Isaiah Thomas, because they need to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah, he's going to have the
is he up for, see you later, and I'm going to bring in one of these two kids to take his role. But I mean, the guy put up 29 a game, so it's not like you can go grab a kid right out of college and say you're going to score 29 a game.
Yeah, that's
right. And look, just like D'Angelo Russell with the Lakers, the Celtics can say, so what? We have a point guard. It's a point guard who is kind of a score first type guy.
Right.
Move him off ball, just like they did with D'Angelo Russell, and D'Angelo has thrived off the ball.
I was thinking that I don't know that you would know this about the Lakers more than I would. Would it be possible to bring on George and Butler from Chicago to to the Lakers, or is it too much money?
It's probably too much money.
They would have to get rid of some.
Yes.
Is Butler free now at the end of this season? Is he free now?
Butler said he'll come to L.A. He'd be your two guard, right?
So will George.
Butler. I think the Boston wants Butler. Boston, almost made a trade for Butler.
Yeah.
Before the season, in the middle of the season, by the trade deadline.
Well, fine, Butler, where do I go if I have a choice between Boston and L.A.? I go where I can win.
Right, you're going to go to Boston.
Exactly.
But, I mean, But Isaiah likes the ball there, so how much are you going to get the ball? You're going to get the ball a lot in L.A.,
True.
So,
yeah, and
but I said, to have two core guys, right? If you get Butler and George on that team, and then you get a kid, LaVar Ball coming down and just feeding it away, I mean, could be really exciting. I tell you, if for somehow you can manage to get those two guys in L.A. and get maybe one of these 2 point guards, I think it'd be really exciting, to be honest with you.
I don't think they're going to sign anybody. Didn't Rob Pelinka say that we're going to wait? We're going to hold our cap money until
absolutely.
18,
they're absolutely prudent to do that. Right now they've got 12 players at $82 million, well under the cap.
Yeah,
well under the cap, and if the price is right, they'll pull the trigger on the Paul George deal. If it's not, you roll the dice and you try and pick him up in free agency.
Well, I think that's what they're not. I don't think they would trade for him.
I think they still could. I think if Indiana has a reasonable offer,
would you give them the number 2 pick?
Sure.
For Paul George?
Sure, absolutely. Who's the number 2 pick?
I don't think. Yeah, well, I mean,
it's a 19-year-old.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
In either case, it's a 19-year-old unproven at the
and you've got a proven
NBA
point
level.
guard. You got a proven point guard.
He's already said too he'll wait till 18.
Yeah.
He'll play this year with Indiana. He'll wait till 18 to sign with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to wait.
Yeah.
But and he's young. He's still a young guy. Was he 20?
George, yeah, he's in his prime, I think.
So he can. Paul George can opt out after 2018. So it's not like he's a true free agent, but he will opt out and he will be a free agent after this next season. So he missed all of the all NBA teams.
Yes.
So he missed out on the Supermax contract, which lost him $30-40 million.
Big time.
A big deal. So,
and by the way, that voting's a joke. However that goes. Having those writers be the person that makes those.
That determines your financial.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And again,
don't like that at all.
It's silly. And just like the MVP, LeBron he's not even a finalist.
Yeah.
So crazy. So if the Lakers were to trade for George now, we acquire his bird rights, meaning we can offer a 5th year in his next contract, but only at the $177 million max. So he's going to lose some money by doing that. That's if we trade for him now. If he becomes a free agent, then it's a max contract. He's going to gain some money.
Indiana would still be able to give him more though, an extra year and.
Yeah, but you know what?
30
He'll make
million?
that money up in advertising.
Oh, yeah.
So
exactly.
if we acquire any team acquiring him in free agency next year can offer only 4 years. So a team other than Indiana, 4 years, $130 million.
Right. So
if you're George, say trade me. Mm-hmm. That's a 5-year, $177 million deal. Why wouldn't Paul George prefer that to 4-year, $130?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, you think so.
Yeah.
But so I'm not saying that he's going to dictate whether or not the Lakers need to be very prudent about it again because they're under the cap and all you have to do is look across the aisle to the Clippers and just see how they have just hamstrung themselves. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy.
Back to the Clippers. Back to the old Clippers.
Back to the
it sort of feels like it. Spates opted out today. Not that was a big contract, $1.5 million or $1.2 million or whatever it was. But there's other guys. They got 4 other guys that. So Redick is a free agent.
Right.
It's going to take $15, $16, $17 million to re-sign him.
Is he worth that?
Yeah. CP3 it can opt out, and of course Blake can opt out.
Yeah.
I think there's one other player. I'd have to look at it, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But boy, that is a. If you're a Clippers fan, you got to be nervous.
Yeah,
you absolutely have to be nervous. But the Lakers, I think, it's all pie in the sky right now. You still have a team that lost a bunch of games, and so the Lakers are still not quite the Clippers. So so the Lakers, like I said, 12 players at $82 million. Lakers are 17th right now in total payroll for next year. The Clippers are at $110 million committed. That's if everybody opts back.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. If the players take their option and don't look for more money, they're already at $110 million.
It's going to be curious to see how this new Laker GM handles
Pelinka,
how he handles contracts. How he used to be the guy going out and getting these contracts
on the other side of the table.
Now he's going to be on the other side of the table. It's going to be very interesting to watch how the games are played. So he's going to look at an agent and go, "I know where you're going here. I've done that."
So
done
for the Lakers, who are not a good team, $82 million, well under the cap. The Clippers could possibly get taxed a luxury tax way over that. If they re-signed everybody, including Redick and things like, it could be close to 180 million, 170 million.
Yeah,
and that would be like 40 to 50 million over the cap. Over the cap. Yeah, of the luxury tax. So the Lakers are at 82 million with the two gigantic, the Luol Deng, they're committed $17.2 million to him, and then the Mozgov, $15.3. But a friend of ours, Dave King, suggested releasing Mozgov and stretching the remainder of his contract under the cap. So right now he has 3 years at $48 million left, and that's a cap hit of $16 million a year. So if they keep him, it's $16 million, $16 million, $16 million. It's a hit in the cap. If they stretch the contract, the cap hit, it's the life of the contract times 2, so it's 3 years times 2 plus 1. So they stretch it out over 7 years, and it would come down to about $6.8 million over 7 years. A possibility, but that's a long time to have a $6.8 million hit. But the cap just keeps going up and up.
Still $10 million saving there.
But it's a savings.
Yeah.
It's just it's
how creative can you guys get?
Exactly.
Are you going to put this team on credit? Or is it going to be a cash transaction? So ideally, you'd like to move him to another team,
right?
But who's going to be willing to take that outrageous contract? I don't know. 3 long years left on that, and Mozgov sat the bench for the last month.
So did
the
Deng.
season. So did Luol Deng.
Yeah.
I think Luol Deng possibly could fit, but Mozgov does not fit Luke Walton's offense.
Yeah.
So that decision was made before Walton even had. He must have just been slapping his forehead when he saw that.
I heard Walton the other day on the radio, and he really likes ball. He really likes him.
Of course, that's exact moving the ball, getting the ball.
Yeah.
So the more that I look at that and the way that Walton probably wants to run it, the more that fits. Lonzo Ball coming to the Lakers. Because I also read that. I have a statistic, and I got to find it. But so D'Angelo Russell, when he's on the ball, he's better off the ball. So wow. There was a report on silverscreenandroll.com, which is the Lakers Nation. So at point guard, per 48 minutes, he's averaging 16.8 points per game. When on the shooting guard, he's 17.5 points per game, and in the few minutes that he had, and that he's played at small forward, he's 22.5. So in both of those off ball positions, he's much better, and defensively he's better. So for instance, his net 48 production is negative 5.6 at point guard, negative 0.4 better at shooting guard, and positive 10.2 at small forward. I don't think when they go small and then they move him there, they could do that. I mean, Walton must be licking his chops and say Ball, and D'Angelo and Clarkson, or and Brandon Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a nice team.
Absolutely, it could be a really nice team.
It could be a nice team.
As long
so they
as
have the
LaVar,
second, but when's their next pick?
28th. Yeah, 28th.
Yeah, you never know. You could get a couple.
So I guess how many picks the Clippers have in this draft?
1.
0.
Really?
None.
I thought it was a late.
Which is fine because they don't have any money.
Right. Yeah.
So
They couldn't sign him anyway.
But those are better contracts.
Right,
those are those rookie contracts. Those are easier to handle. They have 0, and I think that's a problem for them. But I think the consensus, and by a hair, is Fultz is the consensus top pick. But what's Boston going to do? Are they going to take a forward like a Jason Tatum or a Josh Jackson, or are they going to go depth and again do the same? Maybe be thinking the same thing that the Lakers are thinking, because that's how you win ball games. The Warriors, show it. They go small,
right?
And when Klay Thompson and Curry or when you're going smaller, they're just scoring and they're just quick. So Boston may think, let's get a ball or a Fultz. And so everybody who has that conventional thinking that they're going to get a forward, I don't know. I
think that's a $100,000 question. What's Boston going to do?
Yeah.
And I mean, how hurt is Isaiah? With that hip. So.
Yeah, he needs time.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine. But what do I know? I'm not a doctor.
Just play one on television.
That's right. On the radio. I play a lot of things. I want to throw this out there because I know what I think. So Manu Ginobli, was applauded like he's retiring, and it's like I guess I'm
Manu.
Is Manu a Hall of Famer?
I actually think he is, just because of his international play and Olympic play and everything that you look at his whole entire career and what he's done in the playoffs and I think
that's taken into consideration, because there's some international players that are in the Hall of Fame.
If you take in, it isn't an NBA Hall of Fame. It's a basketball. It's a basketball Hall of Fame.
I think,
so in that regard, yes, but in my opinion, no. He's a 10-year bench player. 10 years. 16 year. How many played? He's played 16 years. 10 of those years he was coming off the bench. He was a sixth man. He's averaged 13.6 points per game, 3.9 assists, 3.6 rebounds.
But
I bet if I gave you those numbers and I showed you the names of a bunch of people who had those numbers, and I said, "Is this guy a Hall of Famer?" You go, "No."
Well, I would. My first question is: those guys that you're throwing numbers at me, are they guys that have won championships?
And again, that's one of the things, four championships.
That makes a difference too.
Four championships. The international thing, it's like, I get it.
It adds to it.
Oh, sure, it adds to it, and in that regard, he's a Hall of Famer. Is he an NBA Hall of Famer? Not in my book.
No, I don't.
Not in my book.
Well, if you just say an NBA Hall of Famer,
is he an NBA Hall of Famer? No, but it is, like we said, it's not an NBA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's a basketball Hall of Fame because of the championships, because of his international play, and
it's just
the intangibles.
It's just like the PGA, right, or the Hall of Fame for golf.
Right.
You're usually not getting in there unless you've won a major.
Yeah.
Right.
The only guy that actually has gone into the Hall of Fame without winning a major is Colin Montgomery, and that was due to the fact that he won the scoring championship on the European Tour for like 8 straight years. Now, he won a ton of tournaments, but he never won a major.
It's just like the Baseball Hall of Fame. You almost have to hit 600 home runs to make any noise in that area.
So that's how I'd answer it.
Okay.
That's my final answer.
Okay.
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Dodgers?
Stay hot.
Kershaw going tonight, looking for his 8th win, 7-2. Kershaw is tied for third with Walter Johnson for the lowest earned run average since 1912, a minimum of 1,500 innings, 2.36. He's got a 2.15 ERA and a WHIP, walks and hits per inning pitched of 0.89. And everybody's sort of thinking, what's wrong with him? What's
That's
wrong with
kind of
slider?
Impressive.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's
Less
wrong?
than one,
What's wrong
less than
with
one
him?
guy on
I
base
never
per inning.
said what's wrong with them, guys.
People are, and because we get a little spoiled. He's given up 7 home runs this year. He gave up 8 last year, but again, he hurt for some of that, so he missed some games. Gave up 8 last year, 15 in 2015.
Well, if Kershaw's so good, you raise the bar. I mean, your expectations are so much higher.
He's walked 7 guys this year. He walked 11 all of last season.
So one of the stats that I would like to, and it reminds me of, there's a guy for the Angels way back when called Kurt McCaskill.
I remember him.
They never scored runs for him, ever.
Right.
And I was wondering, you say he's given up this and he's done this. I mean, what is their run, support for him?
You know what? It's been better the last few years, but there was a time when with these numbers, he'd have like a 4-3 record and a bunch of no decisions, but he's getting decisions almost every time he's been out there. I think he's 7-2. He's had a decision in every game and every one of his starts.
I'll tell you what I looked up today, and what hurts you guys a little bit is Turner going out leading the league in hitting, right? And he hurts. Is it a severe hamstring issue, or is it just
know. Because
the 10 day? It's on the 10 day. He's on the 10 day.
Exactly.
He's on the 10 day.
As of right now,
the 10 days.
It's a 10-day hamstring injury.
The 10 days a real disguise.
But ask me in another 5 days, and it might be another 10-day hamstring injury.
Now, how long? 10
How
day.
many times can you hit that?
Yeah, can you keep him on the 10 day forever?
You can abuse it. You can absolutely abuse it. You can go 10 day, 10 day.
Really?
10 day.
Then why would you put him on anything else unless it's a severe?
So is there a 30,
unless it's severe?
So is there a 30 day anymore, or is it 10 and 60?
15 day.
Nobody's using a 30 day. If there is,
I mean, did it disappear?
It's 10, 15.
Or is it 15?
15, yeah.
And 60, and I'm sure there's a 30 day. I think they just added the 10 day. I don't think they took anything away.
Yeah.
But everybody's using it, and the way the Dodgers are, it's like, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm okay. Oh, you're just okay? We're putting you on the 10 day.
Right, exactly. Well, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Everybody's doing it, and it's there might be some tweaks to it, but for the Dodgers have played it. I mean, they're playing it like a Stradivarius.
It's almost like the league sat down with all these guys, and they're in the meeting room, and they're already going, okay, so we're gonna have this 10-day DL. This is how it's gonna work, and they're all going, are you kidding me? Oh, we're gonna take advantage of this thing. Are you kidding me? Like 10 day? I'm all over this 10 day.
Yeah, it's like when somebody offers you a deal, and you go, wait, that's a great deal. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's almost too good a deal.
Right, yeah.
It's too good to be true.
You know what? Let me answer that. I'll get back to you in 10 days.
Yeah. So Forsythe off the DL and in the leadoff spot tonight. Urias to the minors. He's struggling with his commitment. 14 walks in 23 and a third innings.
He's got to go down there and pitch every 4 days.
And his last 2 starts, he's given up 13 earned runs.
Oh, boy.
So, again, you got a bunch of starters. Wood has been terrific.
Yeah, he has.
Just
actually,
terrific.
But the Bellinger situation, I looked at him. He's got 9 home runs, but he's got 30 strikeouts.
Yeah,
he either hits a home run,
but he's got 10 walks.
Yeah,
he's got 10 walks.
But, he's got to erase some of those strikeouts.
His slash line is 300, 370, 678.
Yeah.
Do you care if he's striking out?
Yeah.
He's not in the double plays.
No, that's good.
That's what I like about a guy who either hits home runs. I mean, he's got 95 at bats. So
he takes a cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
He takes a cut.
Yeah, the exit velocity on his stuff. So he's got 24 RBI in 25 games, 9 home runs.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
And he's young, and he's got
RBI a game.
He's got that rookie contract.
Keep swinging, kid.
Yeah,
keep swinging.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
You got a good stretch here.
You're
going right in to play St. Louis. So St. Louis is coming to town, and that's going to be kind of a good series. That's going to be a good 3-game series there. So.
St. Louis and then the Cubbies. Yep.
Yeah.
So gotta make some hay while you're playing out of the division, even if it's a couple of good teams like St. Louis and Chicago. Chicago's
really struggled.
Yeah, I mean they've struggled.
Looks like the Dodgers need to start winning more on the road than they do at home. I mean, they're at home. They've got a good record, 16-7, but they're 10-12 on the road. So that's something to work on there.
Yeah, exactly, 10-12 on the road. Yeah. But they lead the majors in run differential.
Yeah, no, and their pitching's good too.
And pitching's great. Nothing to complain about. Just keep winning
plugging
series.
away.
Just two out of three. Just keep plugging away and keep using that 10-day DL and get people healthy and bring them back.
And hopefully just keep reeling in those Rockies.
Yeah, Puig's in the 8th slot. Fine. And he's leading the team in RBI.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more relaxed down there.
Maybe
not the pressure.
More fastballs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's hitting just dreadfully against left-handers.
Yeah.
So is everybody else.
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody else, exactly. All of our lefties
Don't blame it on Puig.
Exactly. But that's coming back up, and they're still winning. I mean, to be that bad against lefties and still be winning, there's time to right the ship and kind of figure it out. And the last note about the Dodgers is, Eibner, who is a pretty good player, got a pretty good stick. They're thinking about converting him to a pitcher or making him a pitcher also.
Wow.
Because apparently he throws low 90s.
Wow.
Mid 90s.
Learned something from the Padres.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been talking about this, and this is it's sort of the new way. We were talking about the Hunter Green kid.
Right. And you're talking about this kid out of Japan, too. That's
right.
They don't know what to do with him.
He doesn't know if he wants to come over, but I was talking to Shigetoshi Hasegawa, and he said, he's a pitcher. He's a pitcher.
Getting shiggy with it.
Yeah, he's like, because he helps with the Japanese national team, so he goes over a lot. And Shiggy was just telling me, he goes, look, I've seen that kid play. He can hit, but he's a pitcher. He's not a pitcher DH. He just can't do that, right? Maybe he's like a Darren Dreifert or an Owings guy from the Diamondbacks. That what. I need a pinch hit. You bring him in. You know what? It's a 16-inning game or whatever, and do it that way. But he goes, this kid's a pitcher. He has body build, the way he throws he's a pitcher. But again, he's got this attitude that he's like, well, I want to hit.
Yeah. See, but
these guys, these pro teams are like, then stay in Japan.
Yeah. The problem is that we haven't seen anybody like that.
Right.
What's it going to do? When a guy plays a position and then throws a couple of days later, or does he get 5 days off between a position start and a start, or how do you work it out? The doctors, I've been reading when we were talking about Hunter Green from Notre Dame Sherman Oaks. There's doctors who are saying he can't do it. I mean, the guy can't play shortstop, and then pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just not good for the arm. That's just not good. I mean, it's fine. He's in high school. He's a young guy. He's recovering.
I don't know if he's fast enough to play shortstop. Maybe he is. But if you got a kid that's a strong arm there, and you're going to want him to hit, and you just go stick him in right field. Because I'll use that arm in right field. Mm-hmm. But nowadays it's like you're going to sign him for $9 million. You're a pitcher.
Right. That's the safe bet.
It's exactly.
The safe bet.
So
the Angels are right there. I mean, they're right. They're
hanging
around.
Yeah, Maybin. What do you do with Escobar? He hit a home run tonight, or no?
Yeah, he did.
He did tonight, right?
Yeah, first inning.
But I mean, Maybin's very comfortable in that leadoff spot, but so is Escobar.
He's
got
to stay. I heard the first two at bats tonight. He's 15 for 26 now.
Yeah,
getting on base.
Yeah,
he's had 7 walks too.
So would you put Escobar in the 9 slot and do a double leadoff there?
Could do that.
Yeah.
Could do that. I don't know. I think
because Escobar's a flat out fastball hitter, so
you got to leave Maybin in that leadoff spot. He's just on fire.
And I saw they brought up Fontana from AAA.
Salt Lake.
Cron went to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
He's just struggling at the hitting, and that's a power hitting position. And then how about this? Welcome to New York. I'm gonna hit a grand slam, and here's a flight to Salt Lake City. Yeah. Don't hurt yourself.
Here's your reward.
Yeah. But I'll tell you why they're doing this is it's because Espinosa is just not producing, right? And they're trying to do a deal where this kid Fontana will play against righties, and then Espinosa will play against lefties. Pennington's playing third base tonight, so I've said this from the very beginning. I'm not worried about our position players. It's our pitching,
Oh yeah,
and it is a buffet table of pitchers, and It's just inconsistent. I mean, Vince has spoken very highly about the Dodgers. They have 8 starters. I don't know how many starters we have. He only lets them go to the 6th or 7th, and he pulls them.
That's right.
Right, and he just beats the death out of his relievers.
Get used to it. That seems to be the way of the future.
And I could totally agree if we had a 7, 8, 9 guy, but we don't have a
Norris
7, 8, 9.
a 4-out save last night.
Right, because he doesn't trust anybody.
Threw like
right,
20 pitches in the 8th inning.
He must sit there and have a coach's meeting. Goes, can we rename our pitching staff again? Because I don't know them all. 20 years ago or 25 years ago, it was you got your 7th guy, you got your setup man, and you got your closer. And then it became situational. I got my situational lefty, I got my situational righty, and then I got my closer. And now it's gotten to the point where it's a whole other animal, right? I've got my leverage guys, my guys who can pitch in a high leverage situation. So if I need Kenley Jansen to get 4 outs, I'm going to have him go 4 outs, because it's looking and you just
down.
Hope you don't have to use them the next night.
Right, and looking down the bullpen and saying, who do I have in a situation where I'm either tied or down a run or ahead 1 that I can put in this situation in the 7th inning. And so it's changed. Now it's about high leverage situations. Like for instance, Hatcher for the Dodgers. I mean, he's on the roster. He's pitching. He pitches a lot. But the bottom line is that they won't put him in. He's not a high leverage situation guy. He's 3 runs ahead, 4 runs ahead, 3 runs back, 5 runs ahead. He won't be in a high leverage situation. He just won't, and that's the trend now. So it's not about not even about situational lefties righties anymore. It's about who can get guys out under the pressure.
That's why the Astros are so successful. They have a 7, 8, 9 guy.
Yeah, interesting to see when
the guy, this Harris guy. He's a great setup guy, but I don't know how to answer. I don't know where these guys are. And where's Bedrosian and where these guys, when we won these championships, we had a 7, 8, 9. Yeah. I mean, he's comfortable in putting Alvarez in against a lefty. That's about it, But I mean, is he looking out there and go, Norris is the only guy I know because he's the next starter. He can go. He has the stamina to go 3 or 4 innings if he needed to, or 2 innings strong.
I think we'll see a lot more clarity when we get Bedrosian and Street back.
And now you got to worry about, because Texas is on a 9-1 streak right now, and they can get really streaky. And I think the Astros just finally got swept for the first time against the Indians. But we're a 500 team right now, and I was talking to Dad on the way down. I always like on my way home. I always like talk to my dad because he's been a hardcore Angel. And it's just like I go name the starting rotation. He's like, I can't do that. There's no chance, And it's like he goes. It's fun to watch the kid Ramirez. I think we've built him into a possible. I mean, if we're really healthy, right? If we have we have all the starters going, he could now slide into that 4 spot for us. Really, Shoemaker's doing what he can, throwing split fingers like there's no tomorrow. But again, until Haney and Skaggs and Richards and all these guys are healthy, then I'll feel comfortable. But what's great about it is you're getting the Ramirez's and the Myers to come up and
see what they have,
kind of hold their own a little bit. But it is complete, as we've been saying for the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's smoke and mirrors right now with the pitching staff, and if it wasn't for a guy like Mike Trout and a guy like Maybin that's starting to put himself on base for guys like Trout, I mean his stats are crazy. He's leading the league in hitting. He's tied for second in runs. He's tied for second in RBIs. He's in the top 10 for hits overall. He's probably in the top 5 in home runs. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely insane what this kid's doing.
Let me give you.
How do you not give him part of the franchise?
Let me give you a couple of stats that I read. So in Trout's career, he has 407 extra base hits, 506 walks. There are by the age of 25, there are only 3 players before him that did that: Jimmy Fox, Mel Ott, and Mickey Mantle.
Wow.
And
it's pretty good company.
That's Mike Trout is in And that's fair. Mike Trout is in that company and will continue to be. I read today in hitters counts this year, 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-0,
Right.
21 for 41 with 3 doubles and 6 home runs.
Wow.
He's automatic.
Yeah.
He's automatic. So in his first year, his rookie year, he had 10.5, 10.5 wins above replacement. It came down a little bit in 13, 9.9, 7.9, back up to 9.2 in 2015, 10.0 in 2016. He's at 11. Wins above replacement. He keeps getting better. There's a great article on 538.com that the title is Mike Trout somehow found a way to get better. And he is on track to have on pace for new career bests in almost every offensive category.
Yeah, and next year we'll pay him $32 million or something crazy, and he deserves every penny.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
You know, it just gets scary what's going to happen when that has to come up again. So.
Yeah, and if you do not, and Will, is he the type of guy? He doesn't seem like it. He doesn't seem like the type of guy who's going to get frustrated. He seems like a loyal guy. But what happens if he does get frustrated and say, "I want you to put together a winner"? They can't.
Yeah.
They can't. With the farm system and what's going on right now, they can't.
Totally agree. And it comes back to, I think he understands. Like, he's like, I really believe in this team when the starting pitching is healthy. Like, we got destroyed last year with the same thing.
Yeah, good.
He's like, you know, he's a big believer in the system. He's a big believer in this team, and he's a complete team player when we're healthy. But when and that's where, you know, maybe it goes back to, you know, what Vince just said. You have no farm system. If you have a strong farm system for guys to fill these roles, then and maybe we got a couple guys that just did that. But again, I think we're very competitive when we're healthy. That being said, when we're not, we're mediocre at best, and it's showing.
You know,
so.
My question would be, Trout is everything, right? So anybody who says, well, you know, we could get like 7, 8 guys and rebuild the system, it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They're not worth watching without Trout. What else can you give? Would you be willing? You should be willing to give anybody.
I would say
around Trout.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Keep Trout and just get rid of anybody else. Right?
I would say no other untouchables.
See, and that's where it comes back to, like, when guys bring up this whole deal, like, we could get 7 or 8 guys for Trout. Well, guess what? Our scouting system's terrible because we have no minor leaguers. Right. So now you're going to say, hey, look at what 8 guys can we go get in the Yankees organization. And I'm like, do you trust these guys? Because you can't even put a minor league system together. Now you're going to go get, and now you're going to hear this. Oh yeah, remember that trade back when we got rid of this guy and this guy and this guy for Trout? Look at these guys. They came in, they played for a cup of coffee, and now they're nowhere to be found. That's scary. Like, right. What I mean, I totally agree. Build around him. Keep that guy here until you start to see these numbers go the other direction, and then try to sell him on his overall career numbers, right? But right now, I mean, the guy, he plays his position. He hits. I mean, he does everything correct. He runs, and everybody. I'll tell you right now, everybody loves to watch that kid play. Everybody wants to play for that kid on that team.
And he's not a guy that takes it easier during the winter. He's always improving, getting better, finding out what his weaknesses are, doing something about it. He always strives to be better every single year. Yeah.
And you just hope that the light bulb goes on a couple times when some of these kids, and say, oh, that's what it takes.
For me, I see where people who don't want to see the Angels lose, they just don't, they're tired of losing. I get how their mind will wander there. But sometimes you just have to say, be careful what you wish for. Just imagine what the next 10 years are going to be like with this all he has to do is just stay right at this pace for a few more years. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And these are Hall of Fame numbers. Yeah. Jim Fox, Mel Ott, Mickey Mantle. The only other 3 guys that had as many extra base hits and walks by their 25th birthday.
And he's going to get better. All he has to do is stay where he is.
He can stay healthy.
He's good.
Stay healthy. Yeah.
He's quite
Yeah. They got to figure a way to get better without even entertaining the idea of trading Mike Trout.
No, exactly.
Well, and I think
you'll lose your fan base.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're going to be like, "Are you kidding me? This is the only guy I came to watch."
Yeah.
So.
And I think what you said was, you made a good point. He is a loyal guy.
Yeah.
He's a loyal guy. I think he sees, what's going on, and he understands and realizes that we're not healthy, and sees the potential of what these guys can do when they're healthy, and he's just willing to wait it out.
I think he gets along too with Socia. I think they have
they've got a pretty good relationship.
And Richards is like one of his best friends.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what's going to happen to that guy. I don't know. That's very quiet about him. Nobody's talking.
There hasn't. It's been almost cloud of secrecy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't hear progress reports.
It's like when your goalie gets leave in the first period, and you don't know what the heck's going on until like 3 days later.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a hamstring issue. Oh, okay.
They're always telling you in the paper.
Lower body injury. Yeah.
They're always telling you in the paper or on the internet about what Skaggs is up to and what Richard, but not Richards.
Nope.
What
it doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're not hearing anything about them,
Street, everything about their progress, but very quiet on the Richards level.
Street. I wonder he's probably on the street. Is he on the street? Yeah. Trade bait.
You got any golf coming up, John? Horse racing?
Actually, well, the Preakness was. I still haven't seen it, so I didn't get to watch it. But Vinny watched it. Looks like we had a long shot come in. Always Dreaming, who was the
Cloud Computing was the winner,
just did nothing. I guess it never broke well. Just sat in the pack, and finally got dirt kicked in his face. And I was thought the speed would actually hold up there, and nothing really. I guess.
Yeah, these races.
Nobody made a move. You said
mile and 3/16. Cloud Computing did. But I don't think many of these horses are going to be in the Belmont, which is just a beast of a race.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's such a long race, and that the Belmont is just it's not for the faint of heart.
The crazy thing about the Belmont is
it's a marathon.
When they're about 400 yards from the finish line, you think they're pulling carriages. It's like they put themselves in slow motion. Like that finish line is forever. Like, when is it going to happen? So it's funny, they all go out and they get to the turn, and when they hit they probably can't see the finish line. It's so far up there, but should be interesting. LaVar Ball being sued. Did you hear about this?
Being sued?
Yeah, being sued by a Argentinian company called Ballers. They've had this, but all LaVar did was call it Big Ballers.
Big brand Ballers.
Big Ballers brand.
Big Ballers brand, yeah.
But they've called it Ballers brand out of Argentina, and they're going to go after them. But according to the newspapers, that this Argentinian group doesn't have a chance. But they've been in business for 11 years. And they're going to try to see what they can do.
They sell shoes for $450.
I didn't look. I didn't look for the site. It was kind of a blurb that popped up. I'm like, oh, look at LaVar Ball's in the news again.
Maybe they can hit up Manu Ginobili for some capital,
right?
Get him back on track.
Yeah.
Make him a stockholder.
The other thing is the 2021 Super Bowl in LA has been moved to 2022.
Yeah, that comes as no surprise.
That's 56,
yeah,
right?
It's going to go to Tampa now in 21.
Well,
so.
the thing that I find so ridiculous is that there was no contingency plans. We're going to be a year behind because it rained.
Really?
That's what they. Yeah, because it rained so much. They're behind now, so everything's getting pushed back a year. So now they're not going to open until
but it rained
2020.
It rained for 2 months, and they said they put it back a year. It's crazy,
right? Yeah, but the Super Bowl's coming in 2022. Super Bowl 56,
and it looks like teams are getting back for football now. So
OTAs, that's right.
OTAs are
back in business. Yeah.
I was actually staying in a hotel on Sunday night in Westlake Village, and I going to check in and then leaving after breakfast. I'm like, there's a lot of football players in here. So there must be staying at that.
You were looking up to everybody?
No, I was just looking. I'm like, that guy's a big dude. And then the other guy comes in with groceries and just a bunch of stuff, because it looks like those guys are going to be
snack.
There. No, it was. It was a snack for the guy that was carrying that bag of groceries. It was a snack. And then, but there's I saw a lot of guys actually So they must be staying in that hotel.
So OTAs, the Chargers are practicing in San Diego.
San Diego.
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah,
are practicing in San Diego.
They're probably at
it
their.
never says where they're
At their old facility.
Their old facility.
Yeah.
Charger.
Right, I think it's
whatever
off the
that is.
15 there. Yeah.
Why would they do that?
They must still own it.
Yeah.
They must,
the lease.
Free.
They still have the
Free,
lease,
yeah.
and they figured why do it. But and then in July they'll be up
Costa
in
Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And the Rams will be at UCI.
Yeah,
Again.
they're going to be. I think it's like Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach area. It's a big like.
Sandlot.
No, the Chargers are in a big
lot?
like where there's a bunch of utility fields.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of soccer and stuff. So I have a feeling they're like they have it from Monday morning from like 6 a.m. to probably 1 o'clock or whatever, and then obviously other games can be played on it. I'm just wondering if they're going to have to secure a couple fields to. You don't want these guys hurting themselves by stepping in a hole or something because little Johnny was kicking the soccer ball around the night before. So I don't know what they've secured with, okay, there's 10 fields here and we get 3 of them and nobody's ever allowed to step on them. I don't know. So, but yeah. So, yeah, they're in Costa Mesa.
Yep.
Yeah. And then is the Rams at UCI?
They will be.
Yeah.
They will be.
Yeah.
When the true practices start with the OTAs, they're like you were saying, they're up.
Yeah, because the Rams got Aaron Donald's holding out a little bit.
Yeah,
All-pro
saw that
defensive
today.
line. But they said they'll sign him, so it shouldn't be. A problem,
their franchise tagged cornerback Tremaine Johnson wants more money. He's already making 16.7. We talked about this before. He's already the richest cornerback, the highest paid cornerback in the league.
Wow.
It's Tremaine Johnson. Come on. Are you kidding me? And he wants more, and
of course he does.
Of course he does. They'll sign that. He'll sign the franchise tag and say thank you very much for the $16.7 million. Thank you.
And aren't they kissing the bricks this weekend? Is it the Indy 500?
Absolutely right.
I think they're kissing the bricks this weekend. Yeah,
500.
So that's always fun to watch. The last 10 laps, 15 laps, the start, and then the last 15 laps.
Yeah. I thought you meant we were going out drinking, kissing the bricks. It's like that's typically how we end up, but you're talking about the Indy 500.
Yeah. So that's all I really got. I'll check next week. I'll do a little summary of the NCAA golf championships on how USC, UCLA, and anybody local did.
The local women, USC women are in there.
Yeah, UCLA and USC always have great women teams. The girl from Arizona State won the individual. Now they go to the team stuff now, and then the men come in and they follow. 2 or 3 years ago, they started this deal where the men and women are going to play at the same site. The women start off first, and then the men come in afterwards. So last year was at Eugene Country Club up in Oregon, and I don't know where they are at. But I'll do a little recap on how the local kids did for that, from San Diego State all the way up to wherever.
Yeah, so the super regionals will start soon too.
Oh, with baseball, baseball.
I think they've started, haven't they?
Well, they've started, and now they're starting to. When does it go to Nebraska? In 2 weeks or a week? It's got to be pretty close.
Close.
Yeah, it's probably after Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. They probably push.
Yeah, I like watching the World Series in Nebraska in Omaha.
Yeah.
That's fun to watch.
That's actually a bucket list for me. I'd like to go to that.
That's fun to watch.
They changed the old stadium.
Yeah, you might want to keep it on the down low that Omaha is a bucket list for you.
I didn't say Omaha. I just said the world's college World Series.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
All righty, I think then that will do it for tonight. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week, and we are out.
Good night.